excited to be here. Before I start, I just want you guys to know how incredibly grateful I am to be here to speak into your lives today. This is a huge responsibility, and I understand that. For some of you, this is just another event in your calendar of events to go throughout the entire year. This is a stepping stone for 2016, 2017. But for some of you, it was an amazing stretch you had to make. It might be the only event of your year, but this is the most important. And you guys are the ones that I'm speaking to today. There's a whole world of fun outside, but you guys are still in your seats. And when I'm given the opportunity to speak in front of thousands of people, I respect that opportunity. I prepare everything I'm going to say weeks before, weeks in advance, because I know how important it is for you guys to hear it. Today, I hope that my words inspire you to leave here this weekend to go out and take action. I hope I build a belief in you that you never had before. And I hope that through my story, you can see yourself in it, or you can see yourself living out your story. How many of you have a story? Raise your hand. I want you to repeat after me. I have a story. And the world deserves to hear it. Because they absolutely do. Have you guys ever seen a good movie? I've seen good movies. My favorite movies are those ones that give me all emotions throughout the entire movie. I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm sad, I'm crying, I'm angry, I'm energized, and at the end I'm inspired. That's exactly the story that you should have. But the only way you're ever going to be able to live out that story is if you respect every single part of the journey. If you understand that it's a process to get there. It starts with your excitement. It then goes into a bit of a struggle. You're going to have successes. You're going to have failures. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. But at the end of the day, there is a finish line for each and every one of us. But only if you're willing to respect that journey, respect the process. Every day I'm chasing something. That seems characteristic of my team as well. Every day they're chasing something. They're chasing after something. Every single day. For me, more than the prize, what's most important to me is the process. The reason I talk about the process is because the process changed my life. My life has been a series of processes over and over again that I've been willing to endure in order to achieve every bit of success I've ever earned in my life. And that's why I'm here on this stage today. And one day, you're going to have the opportunity, if you're willing, to tell your story, and I'm going to be there listening to yours. March 6, 1981. Me and my twin brother Brandon were born to my mother, Donna Marie Strobel, my dad, Gilbert Becerra. I don't ever remember them being together. Before 1 year old, they divorced. My mom had problems with her family, problems her entire life. She took us away from my dad and moved us to Northern California. I remember sitting on that Greyhound bus when someone took my mom's seat. My mom had to stand up the entire way from Los Angeles all the way to Oakland. I remember standing in the line at the city building or the county building so we could apply for food stamps. I remember applying for government housing. I lived in every single project house. I don't remember a house I lived in longer than a year. We lived in cars. We lived on couches. We lived in hotels. We lived in motels. I remember I was 11 years old. My twin brother and I had to live in a motel by ourselves a whole year. And I remember at an early age, even before that, my brother and I decided we were going to do three things with our life at an early age. Right? We were best friends. We decided, number one, we were going to work extremely hard at 8 years old to go out and earn money to help my mom pay the bills. Number two, well, number one, we were also going to work hard in school because no one in our family had ever gone to college. No one was educated. We were going to be those two. The second thing we were going to do was get involved in organized sports because we loved being outside. We wanted to be off the streets. The coaches were like our father figures to us. Every coach inspired us, changed us in some way. And we wanted to be so good that it could potentially get us into college one day, or we could potentially compete at a professional level. And the third thing we were going to do was change the cycle of our family. We had a little sister, Amber. She was 4 years younger than us. We lived in those communities where every family just repeated the cycle over and over and over again. Nothing was expected of these kids. They weren't teaching them to dream. Every once in a while, there was an outlier in that community who became something big later in life, along with me and my brother. But we wanted to change the cycle for every kid born after us in our family, so me and my brother Brandon could be that example for everyone else. And I remember at 8 years old, my brother and I were knocking on doors. We were asking if they needed yard work done. We were asking if we can wash the cars. We were asking old people if we can carry their groceries home for them just to get tips. And we take it back to our mom to help her in some sort of way, just to keep the lights on, just to keep the water warm. And there were days every single month when we came home to freezing cold showers, when we had to do our homework with candles lit throughout the entire house. It was our normal. But that's what fired us up every single day. I remember getting involved, in organized sports, and I played football, I played baseball, I wrestled, I ran track, I did everything I could. And I remember when I'd be behind in the count, or I'd drop a couple passes, or I'd be behind in a wrestling match, or 15 meters back in a race. And I remember looking into the crowd to try to find my mom. And I remember thank you. And I remember I'd find her eyes. And just beyond her eyes, I'd make eye contact with her, and I'd make contact, and it would make me fight a little bit longer. It'd make me try a little bit harder, run a little bit faster, dig a little bit deeper. It helped me grow some sweat equity in what I was doing. It helped me take pride at that moment of my life, at that moment in time, that single moment. Do you guys want to know why people quit? They don't have pride in what they do. You want to know why people stop? It's because they're selfish and all they care about is themselves. But when you have a bigger purpose of why you're doing what you're doing, and you want to honor the sacrifices that others are making for you, there's nothing that's going to stop you in the face of adversity. It's when you make decisions and choices based on yourself that something a lot tougher is going to come in front of you. It's going to force you to quit because you don't have a driving force behind why you're doing what you're doing. My brother and I decided we wanted to go to the best high school. My mom's like, the best high school? That's an hour away. I can never afford that. I'm trying to keep my jobs and raise my kids at the same time. I'm getting laid off right and left all the time because I don't have the skills. I can't do Excel. I can't do this. I remember her going to community college and me helping her with her computer homework. I was like a kid. I don't even know if I got that stuff right. But I remember we said we want to go to this high school in Concord, California. It was called De La Salle High School. Okay? That's right? He knows. Best football program in the country at that time. They had this streak that they had started. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be on the track team. I wanted to wrestle. I wrestled since I was in 4th grade, and I wanted to play baseball. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to go to that school because we know if we went to that school, we were going to get noticed for all of our hard work. It was going to pay off there, in the classroom and on the field. My mom couldn't afford it, but my brother and I, there's always a way. 15 years old, we went to Concord. We applied every single application we could. Everyone hired us. So we picked 3 jobs because when you're 15, you can only work one job in a certain amount of hours. So we had a strategy behind everything. One boss wasn't going to know what the other boss hired us. And we worked 3 jobs a day to pay for our high school. 15 years old. We were janitors in the morning where we scrubbed the toilets, vacuumed the floors, emptied the garbages, dusted off the desks for when the workers came in. We took the bus at about 4 o'clock in the morning, the BART bus to the BART train to Concord. No buses were running. We ran to our first job a couple miles away. That's how we were so good in distance running. And we were janitors. We'd go to school, do our homework in the library with what little time we had left. During the breaks, everyone's hanging out, mingling and everything else. We were like in the quad in the library doing more homework. After school, we went to practice, where we excelled at such a high talent school. And after practice, we'd run to Exxon gas station where we were the shop boys. We'd help fix flat tires, change the oil, pump the gas, clean it up when the mechanics left, and then lock it up. And then right across that same parking lot was Applebee's, where we were hosts, and we'd sit people at their seats. And 11 o'clock at night, as soon as we were able to clock out, we'd run to the bus and try to catch that last train. And there were nights where we didn't make the train. We had to run back to Exxon, unlock the bathroom door, the lights were already off, we had the key, and we'd sleep in the bathroom. We'd wake up the next morning, clean ourselves off, do our hair, everything else, and then go straight to be a janitor again, start school over. And we did this for 4 years. We graduated that high school. We got full ride scholarships for academics and for sports. First ones in our family to go to college. Changing the cycle. Went to college, graduated cum laude, top of our class. After we graduated, my brother went on to be a police officer. I went on to get involved in the real estate industry. My brother later left the police department to become an entrepreneur. He got involved in real estate. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know anything about real estate. No one in my family ever owned a home. My mom never applied for a mortgage. But somebody saw something in me. He saw a work ethic and a kid who was driven. And I remember he gave me a spot at a desk. I got no leads because I had no experience, but I sat there and listened. I was like a student for a year. And he said, he put me in an elevator one day and he said, how much money do you want to make? I said, 100,000. That was my dream. He said, that's it? And that's when I knew my life was going to be different. By my second year, I made $500,000. Third year, I was a millionaire in the industry. And in 2008, it was like the world crashed. The economy crashed. I lost everything. I had 7 houses. I lost them all. Fortunately for me, I met my neighbor who introduced me to network marketing. I knew nothing about it, but I was willing to learn. And I went to work. Same work ethic, same drive. And in 8 months, I achieved an elite level in that company. And as soon as I earned it, he took it right back from me. He decided he wanted to go to another company. He invited me to go, and he said if I didn't go, he was going to take my team. I was only 26 years old. I said, I don't think you know who I am. I've been working for this since I was 8 years old. I was scrubbing toilets when your mom was waking you up to the alarm clock for the third time. I worked hard for this my entire life. No matter what you do, no matter what you take, I can rebuild again, and I can rebuild again, and I can rebuild again. And I stayed, and it took me 2 years to do what I did in that first 8 months again. I've rebuilt my business 4 times. Have some amazing people in my organization here, Stefania, Danny, and everybody here. And I've duplicated myself. I have a business that pays me 24 hours a day. I've met my beautiful wife, Shannon, in the industry, 4 beautiful kids together. It's amazing. The time freedom, the friendships, the relationships, traveling the world. I never expected that. Work ethic. Respected the process. Enjoyed the journey. Understood every part was part of my success. You guys know the story of Sylvester Stallone? He knew what he wanted to be since he was a kid. He wanted to be in the movie industry. When he got older, he went and auditioned more than 1,500 times just to get a part. In New York City, there were only a few agencies there, so that means he went there hundreds of times and got rejected. Finally, one guy got sick of him because he stayed at the office from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to the next morning, and the guy said, get in here. And he gave him a part in the movie because he felt sorry for him, but he gave him one of the worst parts because he thought, man, if I give this guy this part, he'll hate it and he'll walk away. Sylvester Stallone was a thug that got beat up in that movie. Then he thought, man, I need to change my course. He left. His wife was always on him because they didn't make any money. She told him, go get a real job. And he thought, man, if I take my focus off this, I'm never going to get it back again. I'm going to lose my hunger. I'm all in right here, and I'm going to make it happen. It's for me. This is my destiny. It's part of the process. And I remember they couldn't even have meals. They were dirt broke. He was cold outside one day trying to get work, and he went into the library just to stay warm. And in there he started reading the works of Edgar Allan Poe. And after reading that, he learned a lot from Edgar Allan Poe. He started to think outside himself. He started to put other people first. He started to think about how he could change other people's lives, how he could take ordinary people and help them overcome extraordinary obstacles. So he said, I'm going to write movies now. I'm going to be a screenwriter. And he started writing movies. He started shopping them and shopping them, shopping them around. Nobody wanted to buy his movies. He finally sold one for $100, Paradise Alley, which later he put into production. But $100 went fast. His wife was on him. She was starting to hate him and resent him. And there's something you don't do, guys, when you're running out of money, okay? You don't sell your wife's jewelry. That's what he did. So she hated him even more. And he knew the only thing that really loved him in his house was his dog. And this dog meant everything to him, but he couldn't even afford to feed his dog. So he went to the liquor store to sell his dog. And he waited there. Someone came along offering to buy his dog, and he said, it's $50. The guy said, I'll give you $25. He took it. That money went quick. He was watching this fight between Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wagner. And Muhammad Ali was in his later days, and Chuck Wagner said, hey, I'm going to knock this guy out before the 15th round. His legs are weak. He's old. He's not going to make it. The fight lasted 15 rounds. Muhammad Ali won. This inspired Sylvester Stallone to write this movie. He stayed up 20 hours one night just to write this movie called Rocky. You guys heard of it? He shopped it and shopped it and shopped around. Nobody wanted to buy it. They said, this movie's too predictable. You can see the punchline coming. You can see the ending coming a mile away. Nobody's going to want this thing. Eventually, somebody did want to buy it for $125 grand. He was excited, $125 grand. He said, okay, I'll sell it to you on one condition. I'm in the movie. He said, you're not Rocky. You're this goofy looking guy with a speech impediment. You can't be Rocky. He said, I'm Rocky. That's me. Nope, we're not gonna do it. He said, okay, then I'm walking away. Then they offered him $250,000. And from nothing to that, he said, okay, I'm in the movie, right? No, you're not in the movie. He said, I'm walking away. He said, all right, how about $325,000? Still no. This is my movie. They said, okay, you know what? We'll give you $30,000 and we'll give you a point in the movie. We'll give you points in the movie production and we'll let you be Rocky. And he said, oh, that's great. I'm going to do it. And he said, we're taking a risk, so you're going to take a risk. They made the movie. The movie cost $1 million to make. It grossed over $200 million, that movie. The first thing he did when he got that $30,000 was he went to the liquor store to go find his dog. 3 days later, the guy comes out with his dog. He says, hey, I'll buy that dog back to you for $50, $100. Nope. $500, $1,000. Nope. Eventually, he sold his dog back to the guy for $15,000. And the guy said, and I want a part in Rocky, that movie you're making. So he gave him a part in Rocky. And his dog Buttkiss got a part in the movie too. Incredible story. One of the greatest pieces of advice my mother ever gave me was, whatever you start, make sure you finish. The thing about people who get started in things is usually if they don't like a certain person, they don't like the process, they usually quit. What happens when we quit is once a person quits, usually it becomes a habit that eventually starts to follow them throughout their life. And eventually when they get married, they start a family, they have some kids, it comes back to haunt them, and then it affects them. This is why I say the process is more important than the prize. You have to take pride in what you do. It's not about the outcome as much as it is about you being able to look yourself in the mirror every single night before you go to bed and be excited because today you gave it everything you possibly could. You're always going to be given opportunities to quit. It's just that most people take advantage of those opportunities and they say, why'd this have to happen to me? I thought, why not me? This is a perfect opportunity for me to be a blessing for someone else. This is the perfect chance for me to repay back all of those people in my life who've ever invested in me. It can't just be about you. And once we understand that life is a blessing and life is a gift, and if we were to have to check out today, how would we want to be remembered tomorrow? It's bigger than you. The world doesn't owe us anything. Success on our part should be the rent that's due just simply to exist. It's our responsibility to leave this place better than when we found it. The world deserves to hear your story. What is your story? Put it in writing, sell it to the world, and go make it happen. Thank you, guys.